أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. ما بعد. I'm sorry that we started late. Thank you so much.
Said that the Dawa group of people came from England. They want to meet with you.
I wait after I finish my class. We spoke last week about the arrogance because of beauty, and we elaborated on the problem of image, body image, and how society have created the standards even of physical beauty, that people go and change their nose, change their lips, shaving their teeth, do all kind of things to match a particular standard of beauty. And that's because the idea of you have to look like someone else to be loved, it becomes so dominant in culture, society, and led to change the standards of beauty, become standards of movies and Hollywood and Bollywood, and therefore people not comfortable with how they look. In some countries, women in Africa and other places like that try to look white and lead to skin cancer, bleach in their body and so forth, because they've been told that, as they said in America before, black is beautiful. Try to reinforce that you don't have to look like somebody else to be beautiful. That is become a problem, become an industry, that people try to change people to look based on what they think. And I gave you the example of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam talking about Ibn Mas'ud, when people made fun of his legs. And he said, why are you laughing at his legs? He said, his legs is very small. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, they're very heavy in the eyes of Allah than the mountain of Uhud. And I gave you the example of a man that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saw him in the street, in the market, and the man said to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, no one will be interested in me. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, well, by Allah, you are very precious in the eyes of Allah. وَلَكِنَّكَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ غَالٍ. And we talked about Yusuf alayhi salam and so forth last week. Now, we touched a little bit also in arrogance with money. And we said that we live in society where the self-worth in the car you drive and how much money you have in the bank and the clothes we wear. And Imam Al-Ghazali is going to talk about this later, of the takabbur bil libas. And we said that in material world, money become the focus and criteria of success. If you don't have it, you're not a successful person. Money is a tool, it's not an objective in itself. It's not wrong for a person to become wealthy. Islam does not prohibit seeking wealth, but Islam teaching us that wealth should not be criterion to value human being with. A person may be very humble, very simple, and very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you have the example of Al-Sufa, the companions of Rasulullah were very poor, and there were people that Rasulullah spent a lot of time with them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ نَفْسَهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went to Rasulullah to stay with those people whom the society considered them poor and people who have no means, and he asked them to continue to stay with them, not to get distracted by the wealthiest and the elite of society. And we gave the example of two people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about. We talked about Qarun, the wealthy man, and And we talked about a man in Surah Al-Kahf who said to his companion or his friends, have more money than you. And his friend reminded him of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In both cases, that in Qarun and the wealthy man that Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Kahf, Allah took away their wealth. And we touched on the importance of giving sadaqah and give from our money to sustain the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the money. And we said it's not about how much money we have, it's how much barakah, blessing Allah put in our money, that we can prevent harm happening to us, because a calamity may hit us and take all our wealth, and something may happen in the economy and all we lose it overnight. And therefore we have to be very humble as we gaining wealth. And we said that a person must earn halal, seek it from halal means, and spend it in the ways that Allah has said to spend it, and to give their sadaqah and their zakah out of it. Then number 7, we said is takabbur, that arrogance with power and following, and I spoke a little bit about the almighty arm, the talk about mighty armies and followers and influencers, and this takabbur here, because sometimes people do make decisions in life is how many people that around them. And Allah gave the example of Al-Walid al-Mughira, the man who said that لَأُتِيَنَّ مَالًا وَوَلَدًا. He has money and his children and the power of men around him, and Fir'aun with his army. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَجُنُودَهُمَا كَانُوا خَاطِئِينَ. He said Fir'aun and Haman and their soldiers, all of them were wrong because they abused their power. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Ad, أما عاد فاستكبروا في الأرض غير الحق وقالوا ما شد منا قوة ألم يروا أن الله الذي خلقهم وشد منهم قوة. Ad, they become arrogant in the land, there was no right to do so, and said, who have more power than us? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminded them, said, don't you see the one who made you and created you has more power than you? And then we talked a little about influencers. Now there's a power of following on social media. You can scare people and threaten people, like, I have this many followers, if you don't listen to me, I can destroy your life, I can make one post and you're gone, and who are you? You know, you're going to die too, and you're supposed to be left behind. And unfortunately, some of them are Muslims, threaten another Muslim. They say, okay, I'm going to, I have 1 million followers, I'm going to destroy you, and so forth, and telling people that. You're not going to destroy anybody. The only one who destroys people is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and preserve them. And therefore, the arrogance of threatening people because of them being influencer and using our influence in the wrong way, spreading wrong information about people, character assassination, all of this unacceptable. Of the behavior that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come a time a person, no one will come to our help. For we have to remember that every word we uttered, every arrogance we show because of our following, all of it's a problem. Will be against us as we come to meet our Lord. And then he said in general, he made a summary, Imam al-Ghazali, in this bab, فَكُلُّ مَا هُوَ نِعْمَةٌ وأمكن يعتقد كمالا وإن لم يكن في نفسه كمالا أمكن أن يتكبر به. He said that anything that a person would think that is so perfect, is so good, is something that you have an edge over others, a person will have arrogance with it. Even could be as a person maybe drinking alcohol, or maybe a person, a party person that is and have all kind of misbehaving or attitude, still he might become arrogant with that. Like some people say, look how many women are falling in love with me, how many this and that. the arrogance of committing a sin. You know, I still have it. Walk in the place and like, you know, all the women looking at me. The guys, huh? Or you know, that kind of nonsense. People become bragging about the sin. The arrogance, takabbur bil ma'siyah. Person become, you know, arrogance with sin. And that's what's happening in gangs culture, that the person may be represent himself as a tough person, and he abusing people and they're bragging about it, that he can, you know, scare people and terrorize people. Terrorism and scaring people and fighting them is not something that to be bragging about, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said He will break any arrogant person who commit injustice toward others. This is a summary of this bab. Now we go to a new chapter that Imam Al-Ghazali rahimahullah talks about, بيان البواعث على الكبر وأسبابه والأسباب المهيجة له. He says that what are the things cause people to become arrogant, and what things that keep them, have this arrogant attitude. Bismillah. He said, Imam Al-Ghazali, يعلم من الكبر. You must know that arrogance خلق باطن is a behavior, inner behavior. It is in the heart. وأما ما يظهر من الأخلاق والأفعال فهي ثمرته ونتيجته. As you said before, in Islam, all behavior stems from the state of the heart. How our heart, what is our heart is, our action, our words, our behaviors manifest that. And that's why they said, إِنَّمَا الْكَلَامُ فِي الْفُؤَادِ. The real words are in the heart. إِنَّمَا جُعِلَ اللِّسَانُ عَلَى الْفُؤَادِ دَلِيلًا. And he said the tongue is the translator or the messenger of the heart. Therefore he says, رحمه الله, وينبغي أن تسمى تكبرا ويخص اسم الكبر بالمعنى الباطن الذي هو استعظام النفس ورؤية قدرها فوق قدر الغير. He says that arrogance is enlarging oneself and believing in our heart we're better than others. And we see ourselves because of a medical degree, or because of a professor, or because of an imam, or because of a sheikh, or because of a president, or because of, and you believe that you other people less than us in our hearts. And therefore we demonize other, or believe in particular race, particular country. You know, that come to their heart and their mind, and then they display behavior in their actions and their words in doing so. What has then caused this inner state, the inner state of arrogance? Is al-ujb, which have pride. When a person becomes too much full of themselves, because of their knowledge, or because of their action, because of their money, then he or she become arrogant and looking down to people. How then the at-takabbur al-zahir, this displaying of arrogance, what are the cause of it? Why people show arrogance? Listen to this carefully. Ghazali rahmahullah is one of the genius people. One of the Imam Ibn Kathir said, من أذكياء العالم. He said one of the most smartest people of the world. Ibn Kathir rahmahullah said that about Imam Al-Ghazali. قال السبب في المتكبر وسبب المتكبر عليه وسبب ما يتعلق بغيرهما. 3 reasons. 1, the person who displayed the arrogance, and the person being displayed against him, and the 3rd reason that connected to both. وأما السبب الذي في المتكبر فهو العجب. Why then the person show arrogance? He said because al-ujb, which is the pride, والذي يتعلق بالمتكبر عليه هو الحقد والحسد. Then the other that reason is the arrogance toward others. What they cause it? Grudge toward them and jealousy, حسد. والذي يتعلق بغيرهما هو الرياء. And the thing that connected to all both of them is showing off, riyah. Therefore, there are four things. Pride, grudge, envy and jealousy, and showing off. Repeat them. Pride and grudge and envy and jealousy and showing off. Now, it's easy to diagnose oneself, by the way. If you know those, then it's easier to diagnose oneself. أما العجب فقد ذكرنا أنه يورث الكبر الباطن، والكبر الباطن يثمر التكبر الظاهر في الأعمال والأقوال والأحوال. Therefore, the ujb, the pride, it creates this state of arrogance, inner state of arrogance, and then it is display or bear fruit or cause to or lead to arrogance in actions and words and states, أحوال. وأما الحقد, listen to this carefully. وأما الحقد فإنه قد يحمل على التكبر من غير عجب، كالذي يتكبر على من يرى أنه مثله أو فوقه، ولكن غضب عليه بسبب سبقا منه فورثه الغضب حقدا. بسم الله. الحمد لله. Now, one of the big problem of arrogance is holding grudge. What the grudge come from? Grudges. Some of these grudges, the grudges come from the anger. And what the anger comes from is that a person sometimes believes they're entitled, they're supposed to be better than somebody. Why is somebody better than them? And because of that, they have haqq toward them. When a person then have grudges, do not give people what they deserve. They see somebody has a medical degree, doctor, and intentionally call them in front of everyone with their first name. Not because they're cozy with them, because I want to say, I'm not acknowledging that you're a doctor. Or a person have PhD in something. A person intentionally want to dismiss them. Who are you? Or a person is an imam or a sheikh. Because of the grudge they have, the haqq toward that person, they want to put them down. And sometimes, unfortunately, it happens within the family. What I mean by that, you have cousins and so forth, and sometimes people have grudges, not because somebody have done something wrong to somebody. The fact that this person, maybe he was able to provide more service to others. Perhaps maybe the people call this person when they need them. And therefore, the person hold the grudges and therefore become very dismissive of them. Will not accept anything from them. I will not give them the respect they deserve at all. فهو لذلك لا تطاوعه نفسه أن يتواضع له وإن كان عنده مستحق للتواضع. Even if a person, have to acknowledge that person know more than me, they will not do that. فكم من رجل لا تطاوع نفسه على التواضع لواحد من الأكابر الحقد عليه. Sometimes people even become have grudges, and someone for sure have more knowledge than them, and therefore they become dismissive. Who's the sheikh? He doesn't know anything. I said, brother, how much do you know? I said, subhanAllah, nothing. It's nothing. Really? I'll give you an story that happened to me when I was young. one of the young guys, my peer, trashing one of the scholars of the past. Trashing them. This and that and that. I said, have you read anything? He said, no, I didn't want to read anything. I heard from people, who this guy is. So I have a book written by this sheikh. I took the cover. After a while, I said, by the way, I have this old book. I want you to read it to give me your opinion. I didn't tell him who wrote it because there's no name. He read it and he came back and said, wow, mashallah, amazing. I said, by the way, there's a name sheikh that you were saying bad things about it. He said, really? I said, yes. He said, I will need to read it again. They say, عين الرضا عن كل عيب كليلة وعين السخط تبدو المساوية. When a person reads with pleasing eye, then they don't see shortcoming. When they read with grudges and hate, they see all faults in people. That's called hiqd. How many people who have very little knowledge would dismiss a great scholar because of grudges? And sometimes a person may be in the same community, somebody become more hafiz al-Quran, become more this, become known, and you want just to put them down. Say, oh, he doesn't know anything, by the way. No, nothing. Nothing. He at least give him credit that he's hafiz al-Quran, say he's hafiz al-Quran. Why putting somebody down like that? Bismillah. You have to be careful. And that person then, that person will refuse to accept the nasiha from that person. The second thing is al-hasad. Al-hasad, al-hasad, jealousy, lead to disliking someone and may lead to grudges. A person have envy and jealousy towards somebody because Allah bestowed the ni'mah on them and give them favor, bestowed favor upon them. And a person, he may not be in the need of that person. Like a person may Allah give them, skill set that it doesn't. I'm not in competition with them. They have a different track. I'm an imam. They are doctors, medical doctors. A'udhu billah. Then if I'm an imam and have jealousy toward them because they succeed in medicine, what is this? It is not even in competition with your professions. Why having hasad and jealousy for somebody, even if it's not competing with you? Because people, they become unhappy when somebody succeeds in life. Become very happy when good things happen to people. And all of this also stems from lack of gratitude. It stems from the fact that people believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has infinite wisdom of giving dunya to whom He wishes. Dunya is not it. Why have jealous over dunya and dunya gonna end? Dunya laysa fiha shay. Dunya does not last for anyone. Dunya daniya. That the material world does not last. That's why a person has to be akhirah oriented. Think about akhirah, not only the dunya. Think about akhirah. What's going to happen after I die? This jealousy, it led to so much arrogance among people. It says, ويدعو الحسد أيضا إلى جحد الحق. Jealousy make a person reject truth and deprive people from their rights. حتى يمتنعوا من قبول النصح وتعلم العلم. A person, he gave an example. How many people avoid learning from someone that they know? I'm not going to learn from my wife. I'm not going to learn from my husband. Who's going to teach me? Like, you have jealousy against your own spouse? Come on. How did that happen? Jealousy against siblings, or somebody that you know in the area, a relative of ours, not my cousin, yeah. People consider him Shia, but I don't. Really? Why? This is my cousin. Because your cousin is dismissing him. Like, really? It happened all the time. And I said, SubhanAllah, that's your brother? MashaAllah. I'm really happy. Yeah, he has a lot of things to work on. Okay. Don't tell me the things that in the house. I'm telling you, he has knowledge. Now, why do you want to put him down? Therefore, it's very important. He said that leads to remove this jealousy from our heart. From our hearts, because it become an obstacle, become a brio, become a challenge for us to learn. فكم من جاهل يشتاق للعلم وبقي في رذيلة الجهل لاستنكافه أن يستفيد من واحد من أهل بلده أو قاربه. How many people remain in ignorance, although they want to learn, but what comes between them and learning, because they don't want to learn from their family, or from their country, or from their community. حسدا وبغيا عليه, that jealousy and transgressing against those people. فهو يعرض عنه, turn away from them, ويتكبر عليه مع معرفته بأنه يستحق التواضع بفضل علمه. Although a person knows this person deserves to be respected, have more knowledge, has to be respected of their knowledge, but a person intentionally disrespect them publicly or show no regard to them because of jealousy. Because of jealousy, simply because of jealousy. SubhanAllah. These problems of arrogance really stem from the fact that the person does not have Allah in their hearts. They have ego in their hearts. They care about their position in dunya. They care about the competition of dunya, of this world of life. But if a person have Allah in their heart, then they have serenity, they have comfort, they have tuma'anina. Allah bidhikrillahi tatma'innu al-qulub. Their heart becoming comfort. And that is the problem when a person make other than Allah the center of their life. It's an illusion. No one will feel the happiness, and ultimate happiness, and joy, and comfort, and serenity other than with Allah. Everything we seek other than Allah does not bring that joy. أليس الله بكاف عبده. Isn't Allah sufficient for human being? ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب. Whoever have conscious of Allah, Allah provide for them in a way that they even have imagined. لا ملجأ من الله إلا إليه. There's no way to run from Allah except to Him. ففروا إلى الله ففروا إلى الله ففروا إلى الله. Flee to Allah, flee to Allah, flee to Allah. There's nothing bring comfort, nothing bring joy than being in the presence of Allah. Because everything else is not dependable, not reliable, is not the source of mercy, is not the source of comfort. Everything else has elements of discomfort in it, except the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, this arrogance, this hasad, this jealousy, this envy, the heavy heart, all of it because the heart, it does not have Allah in it. If it's heart on it, when you have Allah in our hearts, our capacity increase. Our vision of life become wider. Our view of life become real. Becoming really living a life of understanding our really surrounding and understanding the reality of things around us. And that the sa'adah comes from, the happiness comes from that. And that's why a person have this kind of attitude, become a stranger in the land. يصبح غريبا. يصبح غريبا. وطوبى للغرباء. A person become a stranger, and glad tidings for the stranger. What a good thing for the strangers. Now, طيب. وأما الرياء for showing off فهو أيضا يدعو إلى أخلاق المتكبرين. Riya, showing off, also lead people to display arrogance. حتى إن الرجل ليناظر من يعلم أنه أفضل منه وليس بينه وبينه معرفة ولا محاسدة ولا حقد ولكن يمتنع من قبول الحق منه ولا يتواضع له في الاستفادة خيفة من يقول الناس أنه أفضل منه. A person coming public, sitting in a panel discussions. One person, one speaker, second speaker, third speakers. In the panel discussions. And a person hear the other person before them making excellent points, nailing it. A person says, like, this guy, the guy, this, she or he, they know their stuff. I have to find something in their speech that's not good to make a point to try to humiliate them publicly. Instead of seeing what the person says, and they want to say something that, say, I think, you made a mistake on this. Or no. Out of riyah, of showing off, we want to display that I have more knowledge on this person. And sometimes, a person visiting in a panel, and they ask them to speak for 20 minutes. And he knows that other panels with them. A person who speaks for 1 hour, take the time of other people because believe that who does two other people? Nothing. It happened a lot in Muslim conferences. One person believes that he knows all of it, and therefore those two people are extra. I hit some nerves. I know, I did. Now, this kind of attitude has to change. You don't think that because of this, you think that you know it all. You don't have to say everything. Let the other person speak. Sometimes maybe we should be silent and say, okay, take all your time. To break nafs. Because when we have the microphone, there's a lot of showing off. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. He says, therefore, this arrogance comes from the showing off, want to impress other people. Now, do you have any questions? Because I'm going to go to a different chapter. Any questions? هل من سؤال؟ This is heavy stuff. It's very heavy. Because it makes you question yourself. Am I correct? Make you go and look to the mirror and says, am I one of those? Subhanallah. Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. No.
Why did he mention the 5 terms of pride, grudge, envy, showing off?
What's that?
Why did they mention the 5 terms, the pride, envy, grudge? Is it all connected to?
4 things. He said 4 things. You remember them?
Yeah.
Pride, grudges, envy and jealousy, and showing off. He said those are the 4 things make people display arrogance in public. Cause them display arrogance in public. If there are no questions from the brothers and sisters, I will go to the next. بيان أخلاق المتواضعين. وجامع ما يظهر فيه أثر التواضع والتكبر. He says that who are the humble people? Who people humble themselves? Again, in order for us to know how to be humble, you have to know what goes with the spirit of arrogance again. You are in English? I would like to read this introduction.
The character traits of the humble and the effects of humility and pride. Know that pride can appear on the traits of a person, such as disdain on his face, his eye looking askance, bowing his head, sitting cross-legged or leaning back, in his statements, even in his voice, intonation, and form of articulation, and it can appear in his gait and strut, his standing and sitting, his moving and resting, his undertaking various activities, and in all the altercations of his statements, and actions. Among the proud are those who combine all of these traits, and among them are those who are proud through some of them, but humble through others.
He says, Rahimahullah, Imam Ghazali, he's saying that the manifestations of arrogance can be like you turn away your face from people, you're looking down to people, the way you move your eyes, the way a person will sit, and the way that people project their voice, the way they will talk, and the way they walk. All of this is a manifestation of arrogance. And one of the things that Imam Ghazali mentioned of the signs of arrogance is when a person want to love people to stand for them. قال التكبر بن يحب قيام الناس له أو بين يديه وقد قال علي كرم الله وجهه من أراد أن ينظر إلى رجل من أهل النار فلينظر إلى رجل قاعد وبين يديه قوم قيام. A person being sitting and have all people standing, but he's sitting. You should not move until I tell you move. He says that a person, Imam Ali said, فلينظر إلى رجل من أهل النار, that his arrogance or arrogance, that person, that they're entitled to sit and everyone should be standing. No one should sit in their present. They have to be standing up. وقال أنس لم يكن شخص أحب إليهم من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وكانوا إذا رأوه لم يقوموا له لما يعلمون من كراهته لذلك. Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم, that Anas says, we love Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم, and some of us, they have not stood up because you know that he doesn't like it to stand up for him, because he said لا تقوموا لي. ومنها أن لا يمشي إلا معه غيره يمشي خلفه, يعني entourage. The person wants to walk and asking many people to walk behind him. قال لا يزال العبد يزداد من الله بعدا ما مشي خلفه. That he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala distant that person who loved to have entourage just walking behind them. وكان عبد الرحمن بن عوف لا يعرف من يعني عبد الرحمن بن عوف, they would not be differentiated from his servants who used to be among them. ومشى قوم خلف الحسن البصري فمنعهم وقال ما يبقي هذا من قلب العبد. He says that Al-Hasan al-Basri said that if people walk behind him, a lot of people walk behind him, he says, don't do this, because this will impact my heart, will leave no humility in my heart. And I would like to say one thing and then we'll stop here. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the most humble man walk on earth. He was so much so, with his companions. A man came to Medina looking for Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the first group he met, Rasul sallam was sitting among them. So he said, I want to see Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فأبو بكر رضي الله عنه, حضر أبو بكر رضي الله عنه, pointed to Sayyidina Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. قال هذا رسول الله. Rasulullah is next to me. The man starts shaking. All his body shaking. Because he didn't realize that it's going to be that soon. He thought that it's going to be door and after door, the door and after door, after door, after door. Then he said Rasulullah. But like the face to face, as Imam Ali radiallahu anhu karramallahu wajhu said, ما رأى الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم فجأة إلا حابه. If you see him over sudden, an awe would take you. His jalal, his azama, his presence sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وما خالطه إلا أحبه. Then when a person mixes with Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, get to know him, you get to love him. For Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saw a man shaking. فسيدنا Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال هون عليك, come down. والله ما أنا إلا ابن امرأة كانت تأكل القديد بمكة. He said, I'm nobody except the being a son of a woman used to eat dry meat in Mecca. I'm not a king to calm him down. But the point that he was sitting among his companions, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Arrogance of race, superiority of having a Sudanese passport, American passport, having an American passport, British passport, doesn't make you a better human being. It's just a passport. It is not our color of skin. It's not the passport that we carry. It's not the title in front of our name. It is our relationship with our Lord, subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to have humility. And when we walk on earth, and we should not feel entitled. We're not entitled to anything. Everybody, كل من عليها فان. Everyone's going to die one day. I want to stop here, inshallah. سبحانك الله وبحمدك. لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمع مرحوما، تفرقنا بعيد تفرقا معصوما، ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا بيننا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحان ربك بالعزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.